I'm Nastasha, New York City gardener. Seed starting looks really simple. You just add seeds to the soil and you wait. But this is the part of seed starting where it's easy to fail if you skip a few simple rules. A few things that I've learned along the way to be mindful of are soggy soil, leggy seedlings, powdery mildew that can kill young seedlings. So it's not that seed starting is hard, it's just that the setup matters more than people think. So before I plant anything, I'm just getting all my ducks in a row. A good quality soil mix, not soil that you collect outside, containers with good drainage holes, a tray, heating mat, grow lights, labels, and a humidity dome. So I like to pre-moisten my soil, and it needs to be damp but not dripping. And the planting depth matters as well. The general rule is that you want to plant seeds at 2 to 3 times their size. So tiny seeds like lettuce and basil, you could just sprinkle those on the surface and press those in. But larger seeds like tomatoes and peppers, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep, and then big seeds like squash, you could plant those even deeper. Because if you plant seeds too deep, they won't have enough energy to make it above the soil. And then after I sow my seeds, I mist it lightly, and I always document so I remember what I planted where. The dome goes on, trays go on the heating mat. The heat tricks the seeds into thinking it's warm enough to sprout, so don't forget this step. And generally speaking, the lights can stay off until they sprout, unless they're light germinating seeds. Now, how do you know if it's a light germinating seed? Well, I have a list here, but a good rule of thumb is any seed that's smaller than a sesame seed. And then once about half of them sprout, I'll take the dome and the heating mat off, and the lights will go on for 14 to 16 hours a day. I usually position them 6 inches above the soil surface. The distance does matter with the light. If the light is too high, you're going to get leggy seedlings, and they're going to be stretching for the light. But if it's too low, you can burn the seedlings. So you just want to be mindful of that. And then they need to have breaks as well. So 8 to 10 hours every night of no light. Make sure you have them on a timer. Now I prefer bottom watering, and the system I have here allows for that. I add water to the tray and it soaks it up with this felt wicking material because overwatering kills more seedlings than anything else. And then once they sprout, I'll let the surface dry out between waterings to make sure the soil isn't getting too soggy. And the airflow is important. Once they're big enough, I'll add a small fan on low, which strengthens the stems and prevents powdery mildew. So just applying these few little steps, you're gonna have stronger, more compact seedlings. So I really hope that these tricks and tips helped you in some way. These are just things that I've learned along the way. And I used a completely different seed starting system last year, so you can check that video out here.